Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's going to be a little different. We're here in the kitchen, which means it's going to be a cooking video. So today I'm making one of my fan favorites. My friends love it, my family loves it. It's actually my mom's recipe. I just tweaked it a little bit, but it's potato, corn, bacon, chowder, and it's so good, so good. So stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay, so this is going to be one pot. We're gonna cook everything in one pot, and I already got everything ready to go here, so you don't have to sit and watch me chop and dice. Okay, so we're gonna do one big pot, and we're gonna set the heat to maybe 6, so kind of medium high. And then I have about 0.8 of a pound of bacon chopped here. I got this from the Winco Deli. You can use any kind of bacon. You could do more, you could do less. This recipe is very tweakable, so whatever you and your family like. I personally did about 0.8 of a pound. So we're gonna toss that in, along with one yellow onion chopped. You can chop it as finely as you like or not fine, however you like your onions. I did one yellow onion. Put that in with the bacon. All right, and then I'm gonna use a wooden spoon. You can use whatever you want. We're just gonna stir this up until it's all the way cooked, till the bacon is all the way cooked but not too crispy, and then until the onion is soft. All right, so my bacon and onion is about halfway done. So I'm gonna add my garlic now. This is, I never measure anything, so I'm not sure, but this is probably about 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic. And remember, you can tweak this recipe however you like it. If you want more, if you want less, do whatever you and your family would like. All right, stir that in and keep it cooking. All right, so it's been about 10 to 15 minutes of browning my onions and bacon. Looks like this. We're not going to be draining that bacon fat or the onion juices. It's just going to add a bunch of flavor to this. So I'm ready for my next step now. I'm going to add a stick of butter. I just cut it up. Stir that in. Once it's melted, we'll move to our next step. Once all that butter is melted, we're gonna start our roux. Now the best part about this, and my favorite part, is that it's all made in one pan, so the cleanup is so easy, so quick, everyone loves it. Such a delicious soup, and you can change it up however you like. So if you don't like bacon, you could use chicken, you could use salmon, you could do ham, really whatever you want. Okay, so my butter is simmering now. I'm gonna brown it just a tinge, not too brown, just a little bit of a golden yellow. Next, I'm gonna add in my flour to make a roux. This is about 3/4 cup. You can change the flour amount to whatever the thickness is that you like your soup to be. So add in a little bit at a time, stir it in, and we want to cook out that flour flavor. So once it's all mixed in, you can add a little more. I like my soup to be a little bit thick, but not too thick. So this is about 3/4 cup. If you like it less, I'd do about a 1/2 cup. If you like it really thick, I'd do a full cup. Just kind of up to you. And you can see the simmering, which is what I want. I want to cook out that flour flavor, and then I'm going to finish up the rest of my flour. Stir it in, and you'll notice your roux getting pretty thick, which is good. It's what you want. And we're just going to keep on stirring. Really cook out that flour flavor. You do not want to have it tasting like flour. This is a very important step. So this is what it looks like. Yours might be a little thicker or a little less thick depending on how much flour you put in. And it smells so good. My boyfriend's gonna love it when he gets home. House is gonna smell delicious. have some tasty food. We're just gonna keep on stirring. I would say for maybe 5 minutes. Simmer, on a simmer. We really wanna cook out that flour flavor. You don't wanna have it tasting like flour. And you're gonna notice it's gonna start to turn a golden brown color. That's what you want. And it's nice and thick. Okay, so mine is thick and it's a good color. Feels, seems, and smells like all the flour is cooked out, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. So the next thing I'm gonna do, this is my secret ingredient, is add about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan. Not to do any kind. Pour that. That'll also help thicken up a little bit and give it that rich, creamy flavor. So we're gonna mix that in until it's all melted. Next step, carton of chicken broth. You can do the fat-free, you can do it sodium-free, you can do whatever you want. I get the Winco brand. We're gonna put this whole thing in there, but slowly. So we're slowly gonna add a little bit and then mix that into the roux. It's gonna be weird and chunky at first, but just go with it. All right, and you'll notice it start to thicken up. That's the roux doing its job. So that's good. This is what it should be like. Kind of looks like bacon mashed potatoes or something. Okay, once that's all mixed in, add a little more. All right, and you want to bring this to a simmer once you have the whole carton of chicken broth in. And while I'm waiting for it to simmer, I'm gonna add my spices. So I never measure, not sure. I usually just use my palm. So this is salt. I'm gonna do about 4 palms full. And you can do salt to taste, so whatever you like. If you use the sodium-free chicken broth like I did, you'll want to add a little more salt. If you used the regular chicken broth, then you're going to want to use a little less salt because it already has the salt in it. Okay, next we're going to add the pepper. I'm just going to take the lid off, it's easier to pour, and I like mine really peppery. So I'm going to do about 2 or 1, 2, probably 3 palms of pepper. And it may look like a lot, but I got small hands, y'all. Okay, make sure you keep that stirred. And you can tweak these ingredients however you like. This recipe is very, you can do whatever you want with it. All right, next I'm gonna add paprika. This one I'm not gonna measure with my hand, I'm just gonna kind of squeeze it in and I'll know when to stop. So you can use as much as or as little as you like. So I'm gonna use about that much. Stir it in. All right. Okay, next ingredient I'm gonna put in is cayenne pepper. So this is a tricky one. Last time I made this, I put way too much in and the soup was really spicy. So if you like things with a little bit of a kick, add a little more. If you don't like things with a kick, then add a little less. I personally like it right in the middle where it's kind of a little bit spicy where you want to take another bite, but not so spicy that you don't want to eat it. So I'm gonna do about like that. Get that mixed in really good. I'm getting back up to a boil now. Not a boil, but a simmer, which is where I want to be. We're getting that really pretty soup color. It smells so good. I'm so excited. Okay. Now, if you're thinking your soup is too thick at this point, it's fine because we also still need to add the milk. So it's gonna get a little thinner. All right, now I'm gonna turn my heat up to about an 8, but I don't want it to start boiling. But since I'm putting the cold milk in, I just wanna make sure that it's gonna get heated up enough. So I'm just gonna start pouring a little bit at a time again. I got 2%, you can get whatever you want. Again, this is customizable. A little more. Be careful not to put too much milk in because we still need to add the potatoes and the corn. So you want to have enough room in your pot to add all those things. And then we're just going to wait for that to get back to a simmer. Stirring consistently. Okay, once this gets to a boil, I have 2 large russet potatoes cut into bite-sized pieces. You can cut them whatever size you want them to be as long as they're all about the same size. So if you like bigger chunks, smaller chunks, as long as they're all the same, it doesn't matter. And I use 2 large russets. And then lastly, a can of corn. So you can use canned corn, you could use frozen corn. Whenever I make the salmon version of this, I like to use sweet corn. You can really do it however you like, but in this case, I did 1 can of canned corn. So those are the last 2 things that will need to go in. I'm just waiting for this to get to a boil. Not a boil, but a simmer. Now, I just bought the Winco garlic bread. You can do whatever you want for bread. I just think this is a great side to go with the soup. My boyfriend likes to dip it inside. It already has the butter and garlic on it. The instructions are pretty easy. You just heat it in this bag for about 15 minutes and then cut it open and broil it for another 5 to get that crispy crust. And this is the Winco brand, so whatever you want to do with yours. I think this is a delicious side. We usually do this and maybe a salad. All right, I'm starting to see my soup bubble a bit, so I'm going to give it a stir. All right, and once you start to see it starting to bubble like that, I'm just gonna turn it down to maybe in between 2 and 4, maybe like a 3. And now that it's boiling, I'm gonna add my potatoes. Be careful not to splash yourself. We'll stir that in. Last but not least, we're gonna add in our corn. All right, give that a stir. And remember to turn this down to about a 4, maybe even less, like a 2. Mine's real full, almost to the top. So this feeds a lot of people, y'all. It's really delicious. We usually eat it for 1 or 2 meals, and then I always have a ton left over that I usually give to my family or my boyfriend's family or friends or anyone who wants it. I'm gonna set my timer for 15 minutes. No longer or no less, because we don't want the potatoes to be too soggy and we also don't want them to be too crunchy. So 15 minutes is the key. Put the lid on and down to a 2. All right, I'm gonna pop my garlic bread into the oven and I'll see you when it's all done. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna take my soup off the heat, give it a little stir. I'm gonna check my potatoes by taking a scoop, grabbing a fork, and testing it. Perfect. So you want to take it off the heat to make sure that it doesn't keep cooking the potato. Definitely don't want that. And that also means that my garlic bread. All right, everything's done now. So look how delicious this looks. So this is the consistency for the amount of flour that I used. If you like it thicker or thinner, you can do more or less. But yum, look at all that. So good. And then I have my garlic bread here, and I'm gonna show you the best hack for cutting it. You know when you cut bread and it all squishes down? I'm gonna show you how to do it with a pizza cutter. So you're just gonna zip across. Perfect. So there's my finished product. Thanks for coming to Cooking with TANZ. I'll see you on the next one.